Okay. Today we will talk about evidence-based practice in population health. Ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng evidence-based practice? Pag sinabing practice, ibig sabihin in your day-to-day life, you rely on available evidence para to make decisions. Hindi siya base sa mga sabi-sabi ng iba, gaya ng mga sinabi ng mga ah, tsahin nyo, kaibigan nyo, magulang nyo, teachers nyo na, oh, ito yung mabuting kainin. So, nagbe-base ka sa, ano ba yung sabi ng evidence, sabi ng research, kung ano yung mga pagkain na mahusay kainin. Okay. So, titingnan natin, how do we look for evidence para ating ma-practice dito sa population health? So, evidence-based practice in the population, it is a systematic approach. So, ibig sabihin meron system to decision making, to make decisions. It combines, ano yung mga key elements niya? It combines the best available evidence at this time. So, best available evidence, nagdedepende yan no, sa may time frame yan. Pwedeng ngayon, 2024, ang best available evidence is, example is to take losartan for hypertension. Pero pagdating ng 2030, may dumating na another study. Sabi nila, take telmisartan, mas better yung gamot. So, depende kung anong best available evidence at this time. It also combines with clinical expertise. Sino ba yung mga experts natin? Na bihasa sa field. And they also take into account patient values. Ano yung mga pinahahalaga ng mga pasyente? Syempre, it does not involve yung mga beliefs nila, yung mga haka-haka, yung mga sabi-sabi, kasi nga we are combating those, yung mga pamahiin, para to give them yung best available evidence to improve their health outcomes. So dati, ang sinasabi, eat lots of protein, eat lots of meat, gano'n. Pero ngayon, ang sinasabi, eat healthy foods na bawas sa oil, bawas sa salt for communities. So, yung patient values, ano yung mga values ng community? Totoo ba yung sinasabi mo? Meron bang kabuluhan? Does it have meron ba siyang katotohanan? Meron bang pakikipagkapwa-tao? Do you care about people? So, this is also a framework. So, pag sinabing framework, merong criteria, merong flow that helps healthcare professionals. So, tayo yun. Policy makers, so mga lawmakers natin, yung mga e-elect natin pagdating ng election, ng next year sa elections. And community leaders, pwedeng these are the elected officials, or pwede rin itong mga traditional leaders na they are may leadership qualities na nire-respect ng community. To make informed decisions, para sa mga interventions na gagawin and programs to address the population health challenges. So, or to improve the health outcomes. Population health challenges and yung health outcomes kino-compare. Tinitignan, better ba? Or naging better ba yung health? Or yung mga disparities ba na address natin? Okay. Kaya yun yung purpose ng evidence practice. Okay. Ano yung key components ng evidence-based practice is the availability of the best available evidence. So, saan tayo kukuha ng best available evidence? Sa mga systematic review and meta-analysis. So, these provide comprehensive summaries of existing research in a particular topic. Pagka nagsasummarize sila, ibig sabihin, marami na silang kinuwang mga literature. They got different literatures, tapos in-exclude nila yung iba. Kinuha nila yung iba, tapos tinanggal nila dahil may mga biases. So, kumbaga, inaayos na nila yung mga reviews para masummarize na para sa atin. So, yung mga different researches, pinagsama-sama na nila para masama. Para sa atin, makikita natin yung comparison ng mga researches dito sa bansa to, doon sa kabilang bansa, parehas ba? So, meta-analysis parang ganun din, no? Tinitignan niya yung mga, ina-analyze niya yung mga outcomes. So, yung iba nga dyan, 3,000 research articles, i-screen nila yan, they will end up with mga 300. Tapos from those 300, mamimili lang sila. Aalisin nila yung mga certain biases, they will come out with about 50. Then they will talk about yung result ng mga ano na to. After screening, titignan nila yung sino yung mga best articles. So titignan nila yung result. Ibibigay nila yung recommendations nila. If there is anything to recommend, okay ba yung ano, or do you need, kailangan ba improve yung mga current studies na ginagawa? Okay. So another way is to do randomized controlled trials. These are considered the gold standard for evaluating the effectiveness of interventions. So pag may ginawang randomized control trial, eventually strong yung ano nito, yung recommendation niya kapag nagkaroon siya ng result. If they can prove na talagang una, random talaga nila ginawa. Tapos well controlled. Tapos meron pa yung another factor if it's blinded. Ibig sabihin, yung participants hindi nila alam kung ano yung nakukuha nila na intervention. Lalong-lalo na ito sa mga sa mga tablets. Yung tablets parehong kulay puti. Hindi mo alam kung yung isang tablet merong antibiotic, yung isang tablet maaaring arena lang siya. Okay. So placebo lang siya. Tapos, you can also get evidence from cohort studies and case control studies. So mamaya tatalakayin natin ito with the diagram. So they can provide valuable insights into trends and risk ratios. Ano yung risk? Kumbaga, ano yung mga adverse effects. Tapos ano rin yung trends na makikita dun sa pagdating sa behavior ng mga participants. So, another factor is the clinical expertise. The knowledge, skills, and judgment of healthcare professionals, policymakers, and community leaders, and understanding the context in which the interventions are being implemented. Ano yung context? Including the cultural, social, and economic factors na kung saan gagawin yung study. There are certain social classes na ginagawa sa upper, sa middle, sa lower classes. May mga researches na ginagawa sa mga poor communities. Example sa Africa, sa Philippines, sa Asia. Tapos yung mga middle naman, nasa middle countries gaya ng mga uh, Thailand, Saudi Arabia. Tapos yung mga nasa upper, yung mga developed countries gaya ng USA, Europe, Japan. So, meron mga certain context. So, yung uh, yung gumagawa ng research, so depende sa yung kung gaano na siya ka-expert sa kanyang ginagawa. How many years na siya nagpa-practice ng kanyang craft? Or baguhan lang ba siya? Old na ba siya? Old researcher na? Marami na siyang mga na-publish na articles? Or new lang ba? New researcher na first time niya magpa-publish? So we also take into account patient values and preferences. Ano yung values, beliefs, and preferences of individuals and communities. We consider the potential benefits and harms from the interventions from the perspective of those affected. So maganda rin na makuha natin yung ano ba yung tingin nila, ano ba yung perspective nila dito. Dahil sila yung maapektuhan. How do we do evidence-based practice? Una, formulate a clear question. Identify the specific population health problem or question you want to address. O mamaya meron tayong activity, actually magiging homework nyo yan. Yung natatandaan nyo yung class activity natin na pinaisip ko kayo, ano yung pwedeng program or activity na pwedeng gawin sa inyong barangay. Natatandaan nyo pa yon? Yung iba nagsabi drainage, yung iba naman food or feeding program. Yan. Iba naman medical health. So from there, tatanungin nyo ano yung problem sa drainage. Di ba? Flood. O, tuwing kailan ba nagkakaroon ng flood? Pagka malakas ang ulan. Bakit may flood? Lacking ba in vegetation? Yung mga tanim. Tapos, yung area na located yung barangay, flood prone ba siya? Or lahat ba nung buong area ay na-flooded? Kaya doon natin titignan. So, how do you formulate a question? Is my flooding problem related to the rain intensity? Is it related to the lack of vegetation? Is it related to the geographical area in which the barangay is located? So, yun yung mga question. So, para ma-validate mo ngayon, ano yung evidence ko para ma-propose ko itong drainage na para sa aming barangay? Okay, so since nakapag-formulate ka na ng question, pwede ka na ngayon maghanap ng evidence. How do we conduct a systematic search of literature to identify relevant studies? Okay, so pag meron tayong mga internet sites na pwedeng puntahan, gaya ng PubMed, Cochrane, Google Scholar, na pwede natin gamitin. And then, kapag nakakuha na tayong evidence, we appraise. Ano ba yung quality and relevance ng study sa aking question? Yung relevance niya, nung itong particular study nito, back doon sa question na gusto kong i-ask. about yung drainage. Uh, were there other communities na gumawa na ng study about drainage tapos ano yung naging effect sa kanila? Okay. And then we integrate evidence with the clinical expertise and patient values. Titignan natin yung context in which the intervention will be implemented and the preferences of the target population. Willing ba yung population na magkaroon ng drainage system sa kanila? So, ibig sabihin, magkakaroon ng construction sa daan. Ganun. How effective will the drainage system be para dun sa area na yon? Eh kung mababa lang naman yung location nila, kapag certain times of the day naglo-low tide ba? So nawawala din eventually yung baha. So kailangan pa ba ng drainage? And then, put the chosen intervention into practice. So, ipa-practice na natin siya. So, ibig sabihin, i-implement na natin. And then, we evaluate the outcome. We assess. Effective ba yung naging intervention? Na-improve ba natin yung population health outcome? So, ano yung mga challenges? There is limited availability of high quality evidence. For some population health problems, there may be insufficient or low quality na evidence at this time. Kaya nga tayo gumagawa pa ng more researches para i-improve yung maging sufficient yung evidence. So another challenge is the difficulty in translating research findings into practice. So kasama dito yung implementing evidence-based interventions. So knowing na yung knowing the knowledge is hard para i-convert it into action. Anong gagawin natin? Paano natin yung gagawin? Dahil resource constraints, hindi tayo equipped or hindi tayo empowered, lack of capacity, and yun ding resistance to change. May mga certain communities, ayaw din nila ng pagbabago. Gusto nila, mostly, eto na kami noon, bakit niyo babaguhin, di ba? Ayaw namin ng mga pagbabago. Gusto namin lang status quo. And this is an opportunity for innovation. So evidence practice can foster innovation and the development of new interventions. So by thinking outside the box, we can innovate para merong mga bagong interventions maybe na nagawa sa ibang lugar or maybe totally new. Pero dahil nanggagaling to sa new idea, new generation, nag-a-address to sa needs of the times, this is an opportunity for innovation. So after our health break, pupunta naman tayo sa evidence-based practice here in the Philippines. So how is evidence-based practice now being conducted in the Philippines? So it has been gaining traction in the Philippines in the recent years. So makikita sa Philippines na dumadami na yung nagpa-practice ng evidence-based. Actually, worldwide, mapapansin na since 1978, dati gradual lang yung production ng mga researches. Mga sabihin mo, sa 20, 30, pero nung pumasok ang 2010, 2015 hanggang 2024 nasa 300 researches ang available every year. So ang Philippines medyo sumasama na tayo dyan, nagdadagdag na tayo. Okay. With increasing efforts to ini-integrate, so sinasama ang research evidence
into healthcare decision making. However, meron pa ring challenges and opportunities exist in implementing EBP in the Philippine context. So ano yung challenges? There is limited research infrastructure. So the Philippines has a relatively limited research infrastructure. So konti lang yung mga researches and research institutions compared to more developed countries. This can hinder the production of high quality research evidence. So dahil konti lang yung gumagawa and konti lang yung institutions na kung saan pwede nilang gawin yung mga researches nila, so bumababa ngayon yung mga high quality na mga researches available. So meron din cultural and social factors. Uh, these can influence the adoption of EBP, lalo na yung mga traditional beliefs. Yun nga yung hindrance to change, yung meron silang inability to change, tapos yung certain practices natin na mas ano tayo sa hearsay instead of evidence, may conflict with evidence-based recommendations. Ano yung mga resource constraints? Limited ang ating funding and at the same time ang ating human capital. So saan nagpupunta yung mga researchers natin supposedly? Nag-work sila abroad, study abroad, and then eventually live abroad. So they're doing their researches doon para sa ibang bansa instead of doing it here in the Philippines. So lack of awareness and time and training. So many healthcare professionals may not be fully aware of the principles and benefits of EBP. So evidence-based practice, karamihan kasi ng training dito sa Philippines, kahit sa nursing, kahit sa medicine, ang style is mentorship. Mentorship. So meron kang mentor, tapos tuturo niya sa'yo lahat yung mga natutunan niya from his mentor, ipapasa niya sa'yo. So, passing it down to the next generation. So, kung ano yung practice nila noon, ito yung ginagawa namin noon, ito, gawin mo rin ngayon, ito yung mga certain techniques, so tuturo na yun. However, kung hindi sila updated, nangyayari yung mentorship, uh, bumabalik sa hearsay or phased out na yung evidence na inaano nila, na tinuturo. Hearsay na lang, chismis, marites. Pero kung ma-update with the best available evidence, tapos yun ang ipa-practice yung mentorship process. Ipa-practice yung mentorship process. Magiging effective yun to pass down EVP to the next generation. Hindi na siya hearsay. Hindi na siya nakabase sa tradition. Kundi nakabase siya sa best available evidence. So ano yung mga opportunities? There is now growing interest pagdating sa evidence-based medicine among healthcare professionals, policymakers, and researchers in the Philippines. Government support, it has been supportive to promote EVP. So lalo na yung Department of Health, Department of Education, uh, nagpuput up na ng mga evidence-based medicine centers. And naggumagawa sila ng mga development guidelines. Ano ba yung mga guidelines na para saan ba sila? Ang guidelines, pag sinabi nila 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, this puts lahat ng mga tao na sumusunod sa guideline, iisa yung action. Tapos kung ito ay naka-base sa evidence-based practice or evidence-based medicine, so uh, yung knowledge ay nako-convert into action sa pamamagitan ng guidelines. So guideline siya, so ibig sabihin, you follow it step by step. Pero it doesn't mean na eto na, this is na yung law. pwede mo pa rin siyang i-modify depende sa situation na kung saan ka located. So, meron ding collaboration with international organizations. Uh, Examples of collaboration is with the WHO. Sila yung nagpo-provide ng technical assistance and training and funding para sa ating mga members ng Department of Health. So sila din, malaki ang database din ng WHO, kaya lang, syempre dahil sila ay merong certain databases na hindi nila pinoproduce outside, also although available yun among their employees. And the development of local research capacity. So dito tayo pumapasok, kaya tinuturuan ng public health students para magkaroon ng more local research dito sa Philippines. At eventually, meron tayong mga opportunities for publishing uh, to invest in the development ng local research para to help address the challenge of limited research infrastructure. So hopefully, isa yan sa maging thrust ng ating university to produce more local researches. Ano yung mga key initiatives? The Philippine College of Physicians has been actively promoting evidence-based practice through their trainings and their gumagawa na sila ng guidelines. So, pagdating sa medicine, tawag nila dito ay EBM, Evidence-Based Medicine, and to put it into their training programs and put it into practice. Pero it's a general term, evidence-based practice for all fields. So, na-mention ko na kanina, yung Department of Health are developing guidelines. Kumukuha rin sila ng mga guidelines sa iba-ibang mga specialties, gaya ng surgery, OB-GYN, pedia, kahit yung mga subspecialties na ENT. Ibig sabihin ng ENT, ear, nose, and throat doctor. So, anything to do with your face, yan, sila yan. Tapos meron din silang guidelines para sa mga opta, ibig sabihin sa eye, sa mata. So, nagbibigay sila ng mga guidelines at nag-approve ng mga guidelines para sa various healthcare settings. So, ang example nito, kunyari, yung PCP may ginawang guideline, tapos ipapasa niya to kay DOH. Si DOH, i-approve niya yung guideline. Pagka in-approve niya yung guideline, bibigay niyo to sa public para alam ng lahat. And then, yung guidelines na to, makikita ng mga members uh, ng physicians. So, lahat ngayon ng physicians, kahit sila ay member ng PCP or hindi, makikita nila yon, and they will then makikita nila, follow nila yung guidelines para merong iisa yung unified action pagdating dun sa certain issues. Okay? Kunyari, meron sakit, unified yung action natin pagdating sa kunyari, treatment ng HIV o ng tuberculosis, iisa lang yung natin, pina-follow natin guideline. Hindi tayo nag-iiba-iba, nag-experiment sa ibang gamot. Ito, meron na itong evidence, tapos ito na yung gagawin natin. And then, also academic institutions. Kasama dyan ang BPSU. So, merong lalo na yung mga state universities, they are into evidence-based practice. So, kasama na ang BPSU dyan, dinidevelop niya yung mga courses, tapos yung mga training programs gaya nito, so that you can do evidence-based practice. Okay, we will have a 10-minute break. You can pause this video. Now we will discuss how do we look for the best available evidence. Paano ba maghanap ng literature sa internet? So, una, gagawin natin, ano ba yung type of question para tayo maghanap ng evidence? Bago tayo maghanap ng evidence, ano ba yung hinahanap natin? Natatandaan nyo, dati binigyan ko kayo ng ah, iba, parang class participation na think of a project or a uh, program na gusto nyo, if you have the power to do in your barangay, ano yung pwede nyo i-propose sa mga barangay captain. So, yung iba sa inyo, nag, sabi, drainage. Okay. Tapos, meron ding, feeding program. Feeding program. Tapos, meron iba naman, health. Healthcare, o kaya, tapos yung iba, advocacy. So, example natin to drainage. Okay, so sa pagdating sa drainage, tatanungin natin, bakit ba niya na ano yung ah, problem niya ay lagyan ng drainage? Kasi marahil merong flood or merong stagnant water. Saan nanggagaling yung stagnant water? Dahil ba to sa heavy rainfall? Dahil ba sa tide, low tide o high tide? Dahil ba sa konti yung vegetation, ah, yung mga plants, o dahil ba to sa geographical location? Malapit ba siya sa dagat o malapit sa body of water, sa ilog? So, ang magiging question mo ngayon is is it the rain, the tide, o yung konting vegetation or geographical area ba yung nagko-cause ng flood? So pagka ganun yung question mo, is this the ano, etiology? Ano yung cause of this condition? So, mag-iisip ka ng several causes. What is the cause of this flood in our barangay tuwing kailan siya nangyayari? So, meron kang time frame. Uh, and then, pagka meron ka na yan, then you can now write your question. In our barangay, is the flood problem due to the rain, the tide, or is it due to the vegetation or geographical area? Then maghahanap ka na ngayon ng previous publications na ah, tatalakay ng mga issues na yon. Example, yung um, saka ka ngayon makakahanap ng publication on rain, publication on the tide, on rising sea water, uh, publication on association of flood and few vegetation, and association of flood in your geographic area. So, pagka meron ka ng publication na gano'n, pupunta ka na ngayon sa next step. Okay. Other types, uh, uh, is yung comparing one intervention to another. Uh, Pwedeng old intervention or pwedeng gold standard na intervention, yung previously proven pero dahil sa length of time standard, maaring meron ng changes. Hindi na siya yung gold standard. Ini-introduce nyo na yung bagong standard. Or comparing another intervention. I'm introducing a better way of doing this. So, therapy or intervention, pasok tayo dyan. Pagdating sa diagnostic test, hindi tayo papasok dyan dahil mostly hospital-based. Prognosis, hindi din. Harm and etiology, pasok tayo dyan. And reduction of risk of the disease, prevention, pasok tayo dyan. Cost effectiveness, uh, yung is doing this intervention mas mapapa cheaper ba tayo o mas mapapamahal? And then quality of life. Pero meron certain apps na mini-measure yung quality of life. What will be the quality of life for the patient following this intervention with this condition? Proposal.